Go. I spoke with Mark about the fatalities on 544, and he had some illuminating things to say about what is being done. Let you step in front of the
Well,
camera.
first of all, what you see is 544 is a state road, and 544 is an evacuation route, which limits what we can do unilaterally for that property or for that route. Years ago, the university took possession of University Boulevard, which runs between 501 and 544. And at that time, immediately additional safety features were input, which included new lights and raised walkways and slowing the speed so that that was a safer zone to be in. When we took control of that road, we had the right to unilaterally act, though we have to go through state approval process, but we were able to be the catalyst. On 544, as I understand it, given the fact that it's a state road, and given the fact that as a state road it's a primary evacuation route, we cannot act unilaterally. That's one of the issues I understand. The research on the students is interesting because in marketing research we look at your intent to behave and your behavior. And what you say you will do, you don't always do. And as you heard in the speech, Mike Wooten, who was in transportation in South Carolina forever, noting that we're going to force them into a funnel and make them go over that route. Hoping they would go to an overpass or hoping they would go to lights or zones, they haven't. Over the last probably 5 years and probably going out to about 8 years, that area campus that wasn't a primary access point, that was fields and woods, truthfully. And then post that, we cleared and built new housing back there, and new market housing or off-campus housing was constructed by private developers. So all of a sudden we have a larger percentage of our students coming through that one small zone. Even if you look at the master plan of the university, that was really nothing, that was almost a construction access point going back, because that's where we kept a lot of our construction people and our equipment and that kind of stuff. But over time, there's been a flood of students coming into that area. So what we do is, for example, we have a road called Chanticleer Drive that goes all the way around the school. There was too many people with buses.
Oh, I didn't realize. I apologize.
There were too many people in that zone, and so what we had to do is we had to put safety barriers here where we actually closed down Chanticleer Drive in the middle of the day.
Right.
Because of the fact that trying to do what we can to get people and vehicles away from each other. So as I understand it, it's out for bid right now.
Right.
And because it's a state road, it has to go through bid. Bidding never happens as quickly as anyone wants, but there will be barriers so that it will force you down to the light to cross 544.
Right.
They've determined that's the best solution for what we're dealing with.
So does anyone feel like that we need to enact a law like click it or ticket to force people to be illuminated and obey the safety laws?
Don't we have a law, jaywalking?
That's true, we do. Should you get a ticket for it?
Well, you can get a ticket for it.
Should our 14 million visitors that come every year get a ticket for it?
Yes, I almost killed that guy with 2 small kids.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
ran across the street, I swear, across from Omega.
Right?
He ran across
Yeah.
17 with a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And left the grandparents and the wife in front of Omega.
And I see you all nodding your heads, David. I know that you're involved with the EMT here in Myrtle Beach, and I'm sure that you pick up a lot of people off the streets. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of pedestrian fatalities and injuries in a beach town means that we all have to be more aware and wait for the laws to change or be enforced.
Is it a law that you have to be lit or not?
It is not a law that you have to be lit, but it is a law that you have to have lights on your bicycle
That's what I
if you're
thought,
riding
okay.
your bike, but not if you're a pedestrian. And I don't know about making that a law. One more law.
Well, the university, I drive up and down that quite a few times, and a barrier wall, but you're still gonna have turn lanes, so people can get from shops on one side to another.
Yes.
Right.
Businesses there are not gonna let you seal off the whole thing.
Right.
And those are the points to cross, and unless this barrier wall is, 10 feet tall with razor wire on it.
Right.
Because they're just gonna go, I need to go over here to this bar, to this club,
Right.
and get a drink.
True.
Or do some shopping at the mall, meet some friends there. That's what the access back and forth. So you really would have to have 2 or 3 bridges, pedestrian bridges, to cover that whole area.